I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. Is Congress going to change?
Hey, who's ready for a gerrymander?
That's making national news that there's an effort now in Colorado to pursue ballot measures, or to a new group pursuing a ballot measure that's going to pave the way for a new congressional map in Colorado. And if this feels like we just went through this because of the recent census and then the redrawing of the maps, yes, but this would get rid of that whole independent redistricting commission and allow a Democrat-friendly map to be in place for 2028 and 2030.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later in the show. It's interesting. Basically, they're just trying to do what California is trying to do, and
Texas.
They're doing it. Yeah, because Texas is going through the legislature, so California did it through the voters. So that's what we're going to be talking about later on today. But also, Pinnacol Health wants to divest from the state, and the state wants to sell them off. That's interesting. We'll talk about that as well. Is that a smart investment move for either group? Was it due for the state? And if we are in such a big budget hole, does the state just start to need to sell assets? Is this a state fire sale?
Yes, I think that's exactly.
I think Jeff and I want to know if we can buy Red Rocks. Not saying we can afford it. I just want to know what the price is.
That would be pretty cool.
Oh, dude, yeah. In a second. Jeff and Bill Show presents Red Rocks Amphitheater. Hell yeah, we're doing that one.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we will broadcast live from there every day.
Hope Scheppelman's going to be joining us. She's a candidate for Congressional District 3 in the 8 o'clock hour, and big trial taking place around social media addiction. Do you think it's addictive? Man, I found myself scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, and then like 2 hours later, what just happened to my life?
Yeah, and the times suck, and you get into that portal. It is interesting. This will be a fun one as far as is it addictive, and then two, if it is that wrong?
Now, who do you hold accountable?
Yeah,
because
is that wrong?
There are some things like tobacco that we do hold the companies accountable, and then there are other things like fast food that we say, well, that's your choice.
And hey, what about gambling?
No.
You know, again, there's a portion where, yes, we do have an age restriction, but is it legal? Again, we say that it's just because it's addictive or even manipulated to be addictive, does that make it illegal? This is going to be a fun conversation.
We want you to be a part of all of this at 303-696-1971 or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Thursday morning, 26 and clear in Denver, 25 in the Springs. Expecting highs in the low 40s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning for new home heating and cooling system for new home. Heating and cooling system. Contact your Lennox dealer, Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Our top story, according to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center, large areas are under high risk of avalanche as heavy snowfall stresses an existing thin snowpack. Director Ethan Green warned that human-triggered avalanches are very likely and mitigation work is underway with CDOT. Backcountry travelers face especially dangerous conditions. In California, authorities still searching for a skier who remains missing after that avalanche near Lake Tahoe. Nevada County Sheriff Shannon Moon says 8 skiers have been found buried in Tuesday's avalanche, and 6 have been rescued. Officials say it took search and rescue teams hours to reach the survivors. British police conducting a raid on the home of former Prince Andrew this morning. Andrew of the British royal family was taken into custody today on suspicion of misconduct in public office.
Pressure has been growing around his years-long friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, the late convicted sex offender, with new revelations coming out over the past few weeks as the Department of Justice made millions more pages public from the Epstein files.
And that's only the beginning. We all know that. The Colorado State Senate reviewing budget supplementals that increase 25-26 spending despite earlier cuts, largely due to the rising Medicaid costs. The package adds $776 million overall, including $503 million in federal funds, almost all of it for Medicaid. It also taps the state reserve, reducing it from $2.4 billion to $1.85 billion. Lawmakers remain divided over spending and structural deficits following last year's special session. The budget must be balanced, and further debates and votes are expected today and Friday. A man is facing federal charges after an incident involving ICE officers in the Springs. Prosecutors say Jorge Torres Perez threatened officers and damaged a government vehicle during transport, causing about $3,000 in damage. He's charged with assaulting and threatening a federal officer and destruction of government property. DJT will convene today's first meeting of the Board of Peace 47 will be joined by representatives from at least 20 countries to announce a multi-billion-dollar reconstruction and stabilization plan for war-torn Gaza. France, Germany, Spain, and the UK have all declined invitations to join DJT's organization. U.S. women's hockey team will clash with Canada for the gold medal today. Tomorrow, the men in the semifinal versus Slovakia. Tomorrow night, by the way, Arizona State at DU and Western Michigan at CC in college hockey. Team USA now has 24 medals, by the way, in the Winter Olympics following today's action. Jake Center took the bronze in the men's snowboarding slopestyle final. Nuggets at the Clippers tonight at 8:30, 25 in the Springs, 26 in Denver, and that's the latest. I'm Blake Olson. More of the Jeff and Bill show ahead on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill show.
The second of three waves has now moved out of Colorado. We're going to see a winter storm across the plains of Nebraska into parts of the northwest Corn Belt with cold Canadian air coming in behind the system. You're going to find temperatures here in Denver and Colorado Springs much colder than what we've been used to lately. We're going to spend most of today in the mid to upper 30s, teens tonight, and Denver and Colorado Springs will only be in the 30s on Friday. Now, wave number 3, the last of these waves, comes through on Friday. And while it's not going to be a big storm, we're going to see a little bit of light snow developing along the I-25 corridor, out across 70, both in the mountains and on the plains. So travelers keep that in mind. Light dusting to snow Friday and Friday night and continued quite cold through Saturday. Temperatures rebound with high pressure returning as we get into Saturday afternoon, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. In the meantime, be ready for a little bit of winter. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And now proudly on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show. It's heading to the ballot. Colorado Title Board okays language of ballot measure to privatize Pinnacol Insurance. The state's title board on Wednesday unanimously voted to approve the wording of a ballot measure that would allow Pinnacol Insurance, the state workers' compensation insurance provider of last resort, to privatize. Wait, what? Something in Colorado that's run by the government is prioritizing? Or prioritizing?
Yeah,
Privatizing?
Yeah.
Behind ballot measure number 218 is Colorado Succeeds, a coalition of business leaders focused on education. The proposal would allow Pinnacol to become a fully independent mutual insurance company. Under the proposal, Pinnacol would go private effectively July 1st, 2027. Pinnacol would pay the state $150 million to complete the separation, money that would go into a skilled workers and trades fund for in-demand jobs such as plumbers, electricians, and nurses. That right there gave me pause.
Yeah, tell me why. I'm curious about that one. That's interesting because I had my own feelings on it, but I'm real curious about yours.
If we have in-demand jobs, by definition, they are in demand.
It's weird how that works.
And if they are in demand, why is the state paying and developing a fund for people to be educated in it? Right? Like,
I'm so glad. This is okay. I got to stop Jeff right here just for a second. And this is a big welcome to all of our friends up in Colorado Springs. It was great seeing you yesterday as well. And Jeff and I were down there. Thank you so much. This is one of those weird times where the streams actually cross. And Jeff and I come to the same conclusion, but looking at it from different angles. But absolutely, the first thing I thought is, hey, if these things are so in demand, why is this the thing that we need to subsidize?
Put money towards,
I would assume that, you need to subsidize the stuff that you want to push people into that isn't being fulfilled. That if these are in-demand jobs, by definition, as you say, in demand, the marketplace would develop schools and other systems in order to get people into it. Now, they're not immediately responsive, nor is a government-run program.
Yes.
So it's not, but the marketplace develops these tools. How many times have we seen, take a look at some of the infomercials you see online, and just for fun, think about, I really hope somebody spent a lot of time on daytime TV. Think about the evolution of ads for places like DeVry University. The DeVry University used to be things like airplane mechanic and other things, and then it slowly morphed into more of a computer program and more STEM, and they have adapted some of their programs based on what the marketplace needed. They're programs that have popped up simply because there is demand in areas. We have a refocused energy on STEM now. That's what happens. The problem that I saw with this is they're trying to push people into trades that are already in demand right now, so the market will take care of it. Plus, it is going to be a government program that's not necessarily going to be responsive. Also, what prevents our legislators from dipping into it and taking the money and putting it in somewhere else? And I don't know about continuous funding for it. Is this one, we're taking this money that we are getting one time from Pinnacol and then starting another long-term program that's going to cost us year after year, because we've done that before. So I'm going to ask that question on almost any of these programs that our Democrat friends in the Golden Dome like to start right now. I'm going to ask you, is this one-time funding, or how are you sustainable funding this at this point? Because if we don't know how this is going to be funded after year 3, shut up and go home and do your homework. So that's the kind of issue I've got. If these things are in demand, why do we have to create a state program for them? I don't understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's a fire sale.
Yeah.
That's really what's going on here.
What we're selling off is the insurance company. I mean, think of all the things that you'd like to buy in Colorado.
The state workers' compensation insurance provider. Now, Bill, this is even hard for me to understand. And I ran a business, so I remember sending checks to Pinnacol
You just
at one
check
point.
had to be paid there, yes.
But I frankly didn't quite fully understand what it was all doing. But
yeah, it's like that FISA guy that takes all your taxes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You show up and tell me I'm required by law, I'm probably going to send you the check because I don't want to deal with the headache.
Yeah, exactly.
So state workers' compensation insurance. So Pinnacol serves as essentially a state workers' comp fund, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding, and especially
Yeah.
for harder to insure industries.
Trades. Yeah.
So
Roofers, those types of things.
So ones in which you would have very, very expensive insurance premiums. The state then came in, and this is like early 1900s, I think, somewhere around there, that it's created this program. It may not be that light. It may be close to the 50s. But it's again, it was created for a lower cost alternative than what the marketplace would
provide.
charge. Yeah. And now we're going to put it back in the marketplace. We should expect the premiums to rise because that was the original reason it was created in the first place, was to create premiums that were lower for that industry. And I cannot fault Pinnacol if it becomes private for raising their insurance rates, which is the entire reason it was created in the first place. I am sort of looking at this with our government as, and we've talked about it before, as a Chesterton's fence moment, where you're tearing down the fence without understanding why it was built in the first place. Because if Pinnacol rates 5-10 years down the line get too expensive for Colorado businesses that are in those high-risk areas, if construction and other places all of a sudden say that Pinnacol is raising their rates too high because they are now going to be a for-profit company in the private sector, and that is fair for them to do, we are going to have a debate about creating another state-run insurance program. I can't see how we're not back doing this in a decade, talking about this exact same issue. The entire circle of this, I'm not against privatizing Pinnacol, but the idea of this is going to be a solution and a better solution for those being insured, I don't agree. I don't see how this works other than this being a cash grab because the people running the states have gotten us into a giant debt.
So it is the leading provider of workers' compensation insurance in Colorado, which I find interesting because it's considered the insurer of last resort, covering 57% of employers in the state.
Yeah, and I think that's down from what it used to be.
So
I think it was over 60 for a while.
Everybody.
Yes, exactly.
That doesn't sound like
but
a
it also,
last resort.
It also says where the insurance market is. If the insurance market is that unaffordable at that point as far as premiums, and think about it with your own healthcare insurance premiums. Think about it with car insurance premiums. So with that operating in the private, yeah, you can see why there are a growing number of, especially small businesses. I would love to see the breakdown as far as large, medium, and small businesses that are involved, but especially for small businesses, I can see it. I can see why it would be. But in what world do we think these premiums stay where they are or lower when it becomes a private company? Who thinks that's going to happen? Please raise your hand. I'd love to see them. Or give us a call.
Well, supporting the sale of Pinnacol, business and workforce leaders, Colorado Succeeds is the lead backer here. Wants privatization to fund workforce training, as we mentioned, and expand skilled labor pipeline, which seems like the market's taking care of itself already. Argues that the separation modernizes Pinnacol and supports Colorado employers. Business leaders, employer groups, Governor Jared Polis said he would support this. Pinnacol's leadership, with a little bit of nuance, says that they would support the full separation of the state, but not the selling of it to investors. Yeah, we'll see about that. Opposing the sale of Pinnacol, labor unions, the Colorado AFL-CIO, warning that the privatization would raise premiums, reduce workforce protections, shift the focus from service to profit, and weaken the insurer of last resort role. Some Democrat lawmakers and budget committee members have spoken out against this. But that's it. This thing's early on in being announced and reaching the ballot, but that will be on the ballot for you. And as I was thinking about this, he's probably still asleep and studying this. Francis came to mind, the caller. Remember, he called and warned us not to do this.
Yes.
And he's kind of deep into this stuff, saying that this is a one-time deal. This is a once opportunity to do a cash infusion into the state, and then it is gone forever after that.
Yeah, gone forever. And the idea that it's going to keep the insurance affordable, right now we are seeing that over 50% of those in the marketplace are finding Pinnacol to be more affordable. Pinnacol, if it gets into the private marketplace, is not going to keep those rates at that level. So what I am seeing functionally is that because of the horrible budget situation, the legislature, mostly run by Democrats, and in some cases run by a supermajority of Democrats, have gotten us into $1 billion hole based on their management of our finances. This one-time fix grabs only $150 million, and I think that's important that it's $150 million only one time. If we were talking about $150 billion, I think it's a different conversation. But it doesn't even close the hole, nor, in my opinion, come close to closing the hole. I know it's a drop in the bucket, but the functional end result is to make that insurance of last resort more expensive for those people buying it right now, and possibly meaning some of them can't afford it. There are going to be some small business owners out there that can no longer afford to insure their business. And in about 10 years, we're going to have a decade worth of business owners saying, I can't because of the high insurance rates. And then, out of the goodness of our heart, we're going to have a debate here in Colorado about how we need to create a state-run insurance program again. This'll happen. Mark my words. We divest from Pinnacol.
I think you're
in
exactly
a decade,
right.
We're going to be debating it again. This is stupid.
All right. Would love to hear from you. Join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Folks, let's talk game day men's health. Look, guys, as we get older, things are changing. Maybe you haven't been feeling like yourself, more tired, more fatigued, more stressed than you want to admit. And we hear it all the time. Men are feeling that the spark of energy is fading. Lower energy means feeling like you just can't get into a gear past second. Well, Game Day Men's Health has the solutions for you. Billy will tell you more.
Yeah, see, there was that time when you were younger, you had energy all day. You know, you beat it out at the gym. You were ready to take on. You jumped out of that bed in the morning and you're like, "Arr," you could rip phone book. Okay, maybe not that far, but still, you felt like you could. Now, you're dragging through the day. It's hard to maintain focus. You've got that brain fog. Maybe you're skipping things like maybe it's the workouts. Maybe you're skipping going out with friends. Maybe you're skipping getting out into the yard and playing with the kids. Or maybe you're even skipping that bedroom time with the significant other, the wife. Yeah, that's not good. So here, we got the solution for you. Game Day Men's Health. You hang out with them, you go and get the free testosterone check. They tell you what their numbers are, and then their data-driven solutions get you back in the game. You start feeling like you're younger again. I'm no longer having that middle of the afternoon nappy time feeling. Ridiculous. Okay, yesterday, I am watching a international soccer game. It's coming to me out of Norway. It's above the Arctic Circle. The only way I can get it is in Spanish. A couple of months ago, that Spanish starts to droll if the game starts to slow down. Sleepy time for Billy. I go nappy time. Not anymore. I'm watching it yesterday. It started to draw a little bit. I'm doing other stuff. I pulled out my notebook and started working on things for the show while I'm also watching the game. I wasn't feeling that run down middle of the afternoon, can't get out of second gear feeling. You've got to contact our friends at Game Day Men's Health. They've set up a website just for you to check out all of their clinics across Aurora, Cherry Creek, Parker, Inglewood, and Thornton. You can make an appointment right there at GameDayKNUS.com. Find the one closest to you. The best thing about it that we like is they're a small business operation. These are all individual franchisees and proprietors that run it like a small business, but you have a national reach. If you are traveling, you can still reach out to the local local Game Day Health near you and get your stuff taken care of. If you need an adjustment in your medication, maybe you forgot it, something like that, life's busy. They'll take it. So you get national coverage while also getting that small business feel. The thing that made the difference for us is when Jeff and I walked into their break room. Not the thing they do as an advertising marketing slogan on the front when you walk into the lobby, but what they're telling their employees. They have this plaque that says, helping guys be better dads, better husbands, better men. Bang. That's it. Once we saw that as the message to their employees, Jeff and I were sold. And you should be too. They are going to get you back in the game. Free testosterone test, courtesy of Jeff and Bill. And all you got to do is visit GameDayMen'sHealthKNUS.com.
I think it's just Game Day 710 KNUS.
Damn it.
Game Day 710 KNUS.
Good job, Bill. That's it. Okay, Game Day Men's.
Okay. Maybe not.
I will get that right in the next one. Stupid me. Okay.
Let's see.
I thought it was Game.
Yeah.
Game Day KNUS. Yeah, GameDayKNUS.com. See,
KNUS. That's right.
I'm so genius. I wrote it over here on the piece of paper that's to my right, not the one that I put in front of me to talk about some of the details that I forget because I forget where the locations are. So yes, GameDayKNUS.com, GameDayKNUS.com. Check them out. Schedule your free testosterone check. You can find the clinic near you. They'll get you back in the game. Trust
Locations in Aurora, Cherry Creek, Parker, Inglewood, and Thornton. Again, Aurora, Cherry Creek, Parker, Inglewood, and Thornton. More to come of the Jeff and Bill Show on 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you get to hear both sides and sometimes even get the website right. Sometimes, not always. Okay, we'll be back right after this. This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460, along with FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show, where you hear both sides, and the answer to the question you just heard with regards to the noise at Ford Amphitheater is yes.
Yes,
it is too loud.
It is too loud. I'm a concert fan. I got hearing damage from too many concerts. I lose some of the high ends. I do. So yeah, it's still too loud.
At one point, the guy that was kind of the regulator of the mosh pit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I enforce the rules. Because I was old school mosh. In fact, it's really funny. So, side note here for the show. If you don't know, Jeff and I both have 4 kids. I'm about a decade ahead of him in the family life cycle, so we have many similar experiences. Both of us born and raised here in Denver.
Just means he's poorer than I am at this point.
Way more poor. And it's, but oh boy, the thing that's nice is the kids are now cleaning their bedrooms a little bit more, so some of the utensils return more often. Sometimes rather than going, what happened to all the spoons? But my youngest was headed to a local set of bands that were playing over the weekend, and it's not a genre that I appreciate really, but I understand why. But it's a screamo genre. It's like I don't understand some of the presentation. But she showed me some of the videos, and she knows a couple of kids in the bands. I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I got to pull out. I go, yeah, well, I'm just about a year older than you. I go, here's a band Dad saw back then, and I showed her, and she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, these guys on stage. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. So I go, I understand where you get the screamo influence from, the loud music, the everything else. And so, yeah, I was able to show little stripes. And it's nice when you as a parent get that chance to do, hey, I was there and did it before you were there and did it. Dad may be old, fat, losing his hair and uncool right now, but I had my moment. It's a window of about 6 months, but still.
Speaking of having their moments, you remember when Aurora was on the path to success? Things were looking good. Crime
looking
actually
really good.
Down. Homelessness down. Well, Aurora City Council considering bringing back notices before sweeping homeless camps. This I find fascinating. It's like we're not going to give you a speeding ticket even though you know you're speeding. We're just going to continue to warn you over and over and over again. New Aurora City Council member Rob Andrews. You remember him?
Oh yeah, he's the one that likes to drive.
After
he's
drinking.
Yeah, we found down at the stock show. We found the Rob Anderson, drunk driving simulator. Rob Andrews. Yeah, drunk driving simulator. We found that. Yes.
Yes, the same council member that was over 2 times the limit.
Yes.
And was riding around with the son in the car and got popped for the DUI, has introduced bringing back a required 72-hour notice before homeless encampment sweeps. February of 2025, Aurora lawmakers got rid of requirements to provide shelter options and a 72-hour notice before sweeps. The decision following a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that the 8th Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment clause does not prohibit the enforcement of a rule prohibiting camping on public property, according to the language of the ordinance. In a Housing, Neighborhood Services, and Redevelopment Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday, committee members moved forward with a resolution that would add the 72-hour notice rule back into the camping ordinance. Andrews' resolution states that city officials shall provide an advanced notice prior to abating an unauthorized camp. How about this? How about here's your advance notice? You're not allowed to camp randomly in public on sidewalks. There's the notice. But now we're going to tell law enforcement to go around and regularly remind people, hey, you have 72 hours. Hey, you have 72 hours. Advance notice shall be provided no fewer than 72 hours before the scheduled abatement, the resolution states. If the encampment presents an imminent public health or safety risk, like it's on fire or is on CDOT property, the notice is not required. How about that? It's on CDOT property, you don't have to notice, but everywhere else, including right in front of a business, you do have to notice.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem Allison Combs said there's a number of benefits of giving notice. We can give people the opportunity to leave if that's what they want to do instead of being more surprised. Well, you should be surprised. This idea that we have in our culture that, especially with all the homeless shelters, it's not like you don't have a place to go. There's plenty of organizations out there that can provide this type of care for you. And the idea that it's somehow not compassionate to ask somebody to move is just crazy to me. The notice is here. Hello, we'll broadcast it across the entire city of Aurora. You can't just throw down on a sidewalk with a tent and go to sleep. You're ruining the businesses nearby. You're ruining the ability of people to commute and walk and feel safe in their communities. So, yeah, this is a step back for Aurora in my mind. Let's go to the phone lines. Marcus in Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, how are
Here's
you?
my solution. All the public officials that voted for this, and they're public officials, let the homeless camp out in front of their yards and all over their place. They want it, let them have it.
I think that's a great idea. That will help us judge their commitment to the poor.
That's right.
Because I'm getting text messages here, people saying, Jeff's a fake Christian. He's not nice. No. I just recognize that it's not compassionate to allow people addicted to drugs to just throw down wherever they want and think that somehow we're being compassionate to those people. We're not. We're not compassionate to the community. We're not compassionate to the businesses that are trying to make a living, to the employees that might lose their jobs because no one visits those businesses. Look at the city of Denver. You have restaurants closing because nobody goes downtown anymore. How is that compassionate to those employees that have lost their jobs because you somehow felt better about yourself by allowing someone addicted to drugs to just live stoned in a tent?
Well, can I throw something really weird into this conversation, because that's kind of the things that I like to do, and so Marcus, I kind of hit on something we were talking about off air when you referred to the homeless people that are there doing public camping, and while you and Jeff were talking, I just had this weird idea in my mind, and I think it's why, I'm just guessing, I think it's why many of us have a problem with the idea of long-term homeless camping in an area. If someone saw it over the course of an overnight in a park and it was gone the next day, I think many of us would go, well, I'm not happy about it, I don't want it there, but the person's moved on. It's not a permanent, or at least semi-permanent type of a living situation. If we compare when many of us go up into the backcountry of Colorado and spend our time within the spring, summer, and fall camping. And I understand that we have the means in order to do so, but think about how you set up your campsite and then when you leave. Versus, as Marcus was saying, the idea of public camping and what comes along with our urban public campers. And what I mean by that is the trash, the mess, and most importantly, the human waste. Now, I don't necessarily think that we need to be seeing on some of these green belts the homeless digging small holes in order to deposit their number twos, but there are things that you do when you are out in the backcountry to take care of the waste and the mess and taking it with you that we don't see for a variety of reasons in the urban landscape. If this was an idea that they are just here to be housed overnight temporarily or for a couple of days and then they'll move on, I think you could make an argument if it didn't come with the large amounts of trash and waste that are left behind. And we all can think about what happened down at Civic Center Park and the area around when they had to close it down for a while because we had so many homeless campers down there that we had a rat infestation. We had created so much of an opportunity for the rodents to find food, they started moving in. And at the core, this is a public health issue. Even if you think that the homeless people, we should not be rounding them up and putting them into jails or whatever you think it is, them being in or around those type of public spaces, and especially businesses, long term creates a health issue simply because of how they have chosen to manage trash and waste. I don't have any issue with them moving people on, but Marcus, yeah, give me your ideas.
Okay, Billy, what Jeff was saying, they need help. Let's give them some help, get them in there, and give them some help. What are you going to charge them with? Agricultural trespass?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good question.
To the mountains.
Here's the thing, Marcus. Let's say that Jeff and I had both determined that you needed help, but you were certain that you didn't, that you were managing whatever it is just fine. Let's say that you're in a house that might start to be on fire. Let's say that you've got a car that is smoking badly and misfiring going down the road. Whatever it is that we think you need help, but you refuse. At what point should the public, or by impression the state, come in and mandate that help for you? That's where, based on individual liberties, I have a little bit of a problem. And I'm not certain that if the person doesn't want help, that you're going to force them to be able to get help. And we've had numerous stories of guys that have sat in this studio, and we visited with them down at Step Denver, about how many times they'd washed out of other rehab programs because they didn't really want the help. I think that's the problem. I don't think you can force somebody to get help.
I understand, Billy. You're right.
Mark,
but maybe try.
Yeah.
But guys, and I also just remind all of us that there's other people in this equation. There's moms taking kids to the park. There's people trying to go to work. There's businesses that desperately need customers in order to keep their lights on. And when you, like Jay from Louisville, go, the only compassionate thing here is to allow, the only Christian thing here is to allow people to just live drug addicted in tents wherever they feel like throwing down. That's not compassionate, one, to the people that are addicted to drugs living in those tents, but two, to everybody else in the community. It makes life worse, and we don't need to allow it. We just don't need to allow it. We should expect better of everybody. All right, Marcus, Aurora, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Let's talk Gyrie's, folks. My wife and I have had a fantastic experience with Gyrie's. We went to their location in Parker, but they're all over the Denver metro area, where we sat down with a professional designer who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. I was a little overwhelmed at first, but the designer was a real pro who walked us through everything and helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of your home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Gyrie's has the solutions for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation, which means they'll come directly to you. So get the same expert advice right in your own home that we got in ours. Do yourself a favor, get started today and visit Gyrie's.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com, GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Gyrie's. You'll be sure to thank me. Let's go to Richard and Parker. Good morning, Richard. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey guys, thank you. I just had a comment on Billy's comment a minute ago. At what point are we able to, is society able to take away somebody's right or liberty? I don't understand the difference. If I steal a car, that's society's right and liberty to put me in jail. They take away my right. Why are we so lenient with somebody breaking the law, sleeping on the sidewalk, causing more of a public nuisance than just one stolen car, and we're so reluctant to be able to take away their right and put them in jail or put them in treatment? I don't understand. Maybe you can expand, Billy, on your thoughts on that.
Yeah, a couple of things. First, I appreciate the phone call, Richard. And also, I want to remind you and everybody out there that our Attorney General, who wants to be governor, thinks that the first 3 cars stolen are free. So according to A.G. Weiser, who wants to be our governor, Richard, you could take that first car and no harm, no foul. You could take the second car, no harm, no foul. Take the third car, then maybe we'll start talking to you and get you into some sort of treatment program, because obviously there's an issue, but of course it's just a bunch of hugs and maybe some free food. But so I agree with you. I think part of the problem right now is we have said that the ordinances allow for public camping. So I'm fine if we want to change those. I think that's okay. I think that the best argument for that, though, is public health and safety. The idea of the trash and the waste. John Caldera, head of the Independence Institute, does the show here on the weekends, Saturday morning, has told stories about how he shows up early at his office building so that he can scrape the feces off of the sidewalk in front so people don't have to step over human poop to walk into the Independence Institute. And that is both his clients and his employees. That's not okay. Now, Richard, if we want to change the rule to have no public camping, I'm okay with that. I think we've got to figure out some rules for what we do with some of the homelessness, especially in adverse weather, because I'm not sure we can arrest our way out of this, nor do I think it keeps the homeless off the streets if we just put them into jails for a while, and our jails are already so full. So that would be something we'd have to crest over. But if you want to make it illegal, I'd be more than happy to vote for it, man. I agree. I'm just saying I'm dealing with what we got right now and the best way to navigate it without trying to change the laws. But I think you're correct in many ways.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for that
thanks,
comment.
man.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Richard. Richard from Parker's line is open, 303-696-1971. More to come. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you get to hear both sides. We are The Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
Can we even play this music? And also on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
Along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show. Billy, it's that time in the morning.
Yes, we get to be a little bit silly. Yeah. This is the time where we get to break all of the broadcasting rules. It's time for America's favorite radio news game show. It's You Choose the News. Now, nobody in charge has any idea that we are wasting valuable airtime this early in the morning by playing the silly radio game show with you. But why would we do that? Well, we're left unsupervised. Simple enough. Yeah. This is what happened when Jeff and I were left unsupervised as teenagers. And obviously, sometimes we still don't grow up. But hey, we all get to play along with this one. As always, I have browsed the interwebs for moments to find these stories in my hands, giving them even more ridiculous headlines to play this game show with both Jeff, Blake, and of course you as well. Blake is in the newsroom, Jeff Hunt in the studio. Gentlemen, here are our questionable headlines. Headline number 1, hit the sirens. Headline number 2, stealing your homework. Headline number 3, just following instructions. And headline number 4, too much paperwork. Mr. Hunt,
let's start with too much paperwork.
Yes, way too much paperwork. In a shocking and desperate act that left a bank in South Africa recently closed and customers fleeing the place in disbelief, a grieving family wheeled the body of their dead relative into the bank branch on Wednesday morning in South Africa, demanding immediate action on delayed funeral insurance payouts. Yes, the family had taken out funeral insurance like we do here to help pay for funeral expenses, but the bank kept asking for more and more paperwork to verify that said individual was actually dead. Well, they went down to the morgue, grabbed the body, and brought it to the bank as proof. They were tired of filling out the paperwork. So yes,
no way.
Yes, instead of getting the death certificate from the Department of Home Affairs, which is a standard way, the family just they collected the body from the mortuary, placed it in a black body bag, and dropped it right in the lobby of the bank.
Wow.
Yes, eyewitnesses said it created a scene of total chaos. No, what a surprise. Customers waiting in line panicked, rushed out. Staff members were stunned, had to evacuate. They said the smell alone just covered the bank, and people began to feel sick within minutes. Police arrived and said, oh, yeah, that's awful. And there were all sorts of rules because handling a dead body in a public space, there's some health issues there. Bank was closed for the rest of the day. So, yeah.
That's a big deposit.
Yeah, nicely done.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Blake, your choice, sir. Yes. We have hit the sirens, stealing your homework, or just following instructions?
Stealing your homework.
Yes, stealing your homework. We find ourselves in India for this one. And recently there's a huge AI conference at this one Indian university. They are hosting it. And then it got to the big moment where they are proudly unveiling their leap forward in AI. They said, here it is. You need to meet Orion. It's been developed by the Center of Excellence here at the university. It is a robotic dog. And they went through all these things the robotic dog can do, and then social media decided to pipe in. The social media sleuths figured out, hey, how come that looks just like the Unitree Geo2 that is sold by China for about $2,800? Why is it the same dog? And the university went, smoke bomb? They basically came out and had to say, yeah, sorry about that. Yes, we did actually buy the robot from China and just try to pass it off as our homework. The group, that is, again, they're there by the university, was kicked out. So the university was hosting the AI conference, had to kick out their own representatives for stealing somebody's homework.
That
Jeff,
is great.
Final choice, hit the sirens or following instructions?
Let's hit the sirens.
Yeah, hit the sirens! This is for my mom. This comes to us from her hometown of Wisconsin Rapids. Just on Tuesday, a man was arrested for allegedly stealing an ambulance with a patient inside. But it gets better. Dude was naked at the time. Naked dude jumps into the ambulance around 5 p.m. and takes them on an 18-mile pursuit, and then was arrested. Very carefully with gloves. Yeah, saying. Okay, that's the end of You Choose the News. Back to you, Jeff.
All right, coming up in the next hour, we're talking about a new effort to change congressional maps here in Colorado. Want you to be a part of the conversation. The debate is hot. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Along with AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. I'm the map. We'll find Dora next. We'll be right back.